Washington calls us backwards. They look down on us. Well, Washington can get bent.
Voices blending, melodies ascending, harmony in the air. Our songs are never ending. In the barbershop we create magic. Brad and John show, yeah. It's pure classic. No instruments needed, just our vocal range. Notes flying high, it's our musical exchange. Tracy's station may try, but they can't compete. Our barbershop style, it can't be beat. Oh, the harmony of voices, so sweet. In the barbershop of life, our tunes will repeat. No need for instruments, no need for a band. Just the Brad and John show, the finest in the land.
John Combest, you're probably thinking, why is Brad playing the Friday intro on a Tuesday? You're probably asking that, aren't you, John?
I'm asking the exact question, Brad. What's the symbolism of playing our traditional Friday show today?
Well, today is like a super Friday because this will be our last show. We won't do a show tomorrow. And, one of those things to just make it sound like, yes, it's Friday, no work tomorrow, where a lot of people have work tomorrow, but other people have other things to do tomorrow. But I just wanted to put that out there, John. And by the way, before we get going, I'm going to look into my crystal ball, and I'm going to say at least one of John Combest's top 3 stories should be about the butthurt Missouri politicians. The Chiefs are moving to Kansas. The gloves are off. We're going to pass a law against those Kansas people. Okay, ready, John? I mean, is that going to be one of the 3?
Brad, from what I understand, the Peoria Chiefs, the minor league baseball team in Illinois, they're not moving. I don't know what you're talking about. Is there another set of Chiefs?
Okay.
Brad, by the way, I want to commend you because I know you were up late last night. You were watching a biography of one of your favorite historical figures last night, weren't you?
Who's that, Philip Rivers?
Besides Philip Rivers. No, Charles the Gallbladder.
Charles the Gallbladder. Okay.
Don't you have some news about Charles the Gallbladder, maybe in B or C block?
We'll talk about that, okay? It's Friday. It's actually not. It's actually Tuesday. But so what do we do on Friday?
Time for the John Combest Top 3.
We bring in the Polka Boys because the Polka Boys are a great intro to John Combest's top 3. Now, you may say, John Combest, like I did years ago when Shelley Barr told me, hey, you need to know about things in politics. You need to know johncombest.com. And I said, who the hell's John Combest? Now I know exactly who John Combest is. Every single day of his life for the past 24 years puts together this amazing site with all this information. It's not anything in depth. It's like links. It's like web. What version of web is that again, John?
0.0.
For those of you who don't know that reference, maybe we'll explain it someday. Anyway, John puts together this incredible site with all this important information you should know. Hundreds of links. Well, not hundreds. Do you ever go into the 100 on one day? Have you ever hit?
I don't think so. Brad.
But at least 50 or 60? Probably on some day, right?
Yeah. I don't remember ever counting, but there have been days immediately right near an election where there's probably 5, 6, 7 dozen.
Yes. So that's what John does. Now, what we do is we start the show off with this guy right here. Your name again, sir?
I'm Casey Kasem.
And since it's a Friday, you want to stretch your lungs. Isn't that what you want to say?
Now on with the countdown. And here they are. We're on our way to the number 1 in 3rd place.
When you are driving on I-70, mere months from now, you may be driving on I-70. Shelley Barr will be speeding on I-70. That concrete underneath your car's tires, Brad, well, it'll be coming from St. Charles County. I know that gives you a good feeling because you are a Westplex advocate. You can go to westplex.com to learn more. But let's not digress, Brad. News brought to us today from Ethan Colbert from the Post-Dispatch. St. Charles County Mine supplies rock for major I-70 widening. It plans to expand. That's right, Brad. When you're driving on I-70, specifically between Wentzville and Warrenton, that stretch, you will be driving on fresh asphalt. I shouldn't say asphalt, maybe concrete. You're an expert on this, Brad. The point is those materials will be mined from New Melle. And tomorrow, of all days, I guess Christmas Eve, folks in New Melle will make a decision on whether a mining operation there can expand. Now, I'm going to go straight to the punchline, Brad. I know that's a violation of radio code. We're supposed to make people wait, but it's not technically an expansion of the New Melle mine because the company already owns the land. What they're asking for permission from St. Charles County is to be able to expand their mining operations. So they're not seeking to buy new land. They already own the land. Now you say, John, what does this matter for people who live around the area? Well, they do not anticipate that there will be any more noise from the blasting of the mine, but they may feel small vibrations. So, Brad, I think this is pretty cool that you're going to know that when we're driving on I-70, everything that came underneath our car or our truck or our vehicle will be from New Frontier materials formed in 2020. And by the way, this mine, to be specific, is located along Highway F in rural St. Charles County. It's been in operation since the 1980s, according to Mr. Colbert, and has been an entirely underground mining operation since 2005. There will be no surface level mining going on there, Brad. So I guess the group is deciding, I guess the county is deciding, the story says Wednesday, which is crazy to me because that's New Year's. I'm sorry, I said New Year's. That's Christmas Eve, Brad. I didn't know the government folks worked on Christmas Eve.
Well, they're going to be busy passing ordinances against terrible people in Kansas. That's what we're going to be doing. But no, I know where this is at. I bought rock from a quarry there on Defiance on, I guess it would be on Double D, just north of 94. There's a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of that in the St. Louis area. Matter of fact, if you drive west on 44 between Eureka and Pacific on the south side of 44, there's the Silica mines. You know about the Silica mines? Actually, it's not mines. They just strip it out of the ground. And
no, I didn't know that. So would silica come from like the bluffs? Like would they just scrape it from the bluffs, or how do they get that?
Underneath, what they do is, matter of fact, years ago I went to they had a business day where they were trying to show area people what they did out there, and we went out there when they did one of the blasts where they blew this up, and literally. It's just to the south of 44. It's probably closer to Pacific than it is to Eureka, and it's amazing because of the fact they ship that stuff all over the country. And silica is used in a lot of manufacturing. They use it for casting when they do certain types of metal casting. And they talked about how just-in-time delivery, there's a railroad spur that actually goes right into the plant right there. If you cross over on, that would be old Route 66, going along between Pacific and Eureka to the south side of 44. It's pretty amazing. And there's a lot of stuff going on in St. Charles County with that kind of things that people don't even realize. I mean, that's actually, I guess that would be, I don't know if that would be Franklin or St. Louis. It's right on the border. You know, did you know that's sort of the weird thing? Do you know part of Pacific is actually in St. Louis County and the other part of it's
I did know that. Yeah, I kind of had that area back in my first job out of college. I had that area, and I believe, isn't Sullivan right on the border of two counties as well?
Yes, Sullivan is out on the western part of Franklin County. And if you remember the Better Together thing, one of the controversies with Better Together that part of Pacific was going to be taken away and brought into the Better Together, whole thing, and the other part of it wasn't because that was
why not?
Yeah, okay.
I mean the annexation. Brett, I did not know that silica was used in casting, and that's ironic because when you do your quote unquote casting on a couch, you require the women to have silicone.
John is stretching things a tad bit.
I am stretching, Brett. And by the way, my favorite quote from any of the three stories in the top three today was from this story. The spokesman for MoDOT, his name is Jack Wang. Wang is jacked. Have you ever seen Jack? Wang is jacked.
He used to be on Channel 5.
Was he really on Channel 5, Jack Wang?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was one of the TV reporters.
No, you're thinking of MTV.
No.
He would come on and say, everybody Jack Wang Chung.
No, he was on Channel 5. He was a reporter in 5. I'm pretty sure he was.
Well, Brad, they don't all look alike. But you know what does look alike? A couple stories in story number 2.
Up a notch to number 2.
We've had, count them, 2 stories in the last month of Mike Kehoe being threatened online. And yesterday, Brad, you pointed out the fact that sometimes news of the St. Louis area makes the St. Louis area look bad. Well, a guy got in the news for the wrong reasons, and he's from St. Charles. So the News Tribune in Jefferson City brought us this story. I didn't see any coverage of it in local media, but I guess, it is a holiday week and nobody's really working, it seems like this week. A gentleman from St. Charles who has since moved to Florida, but is from St. Charles. His name is Danny Mertz. Now, I want to be very clear. There is a gentleman in the St. Louis region named Denny Mertz, Denny, who's a big ag leader. Folks probably anywhere around agriculture recognize his name. I don't believe that this Danny Mertz is related to Denny, but I could be mistaken. Anyway, just want to be clear when I articulate or I enunciate this. It's Danny Mertz. And Brad, I went and I investigated the Facebook posts from Danny Mertz that got him in trouble with authorities. And I don't mean to make light of this at all, because any threats are not funny and they should definitely be taken seriously. But this Mertz gentleman threatened the health, I guess you could say, maybe some would say the life of the governor and his family, and said that Governor Kehoe killed his horse. So when I went to these social media posts, and I'm not trying to point people there by any means, but some of them are still active, Mr. Mertz claims that Kehoe was involved in a conspiracy, I guess you could say, to have Mr. Mertz's horses killed. So it would appear, Brad, and I am not trying to diagnose this gentleman ahead of time here, but it would appear as though Mr. Mertz is, probably needs a little bit of help. And these Facebook posts not only threaten the governor, but they make references to the fact that Mr. Mertz will make Governor Kehoe's family pay for the destruction of Mr. Mertz's horse. And Mr. Mertz uses a number of Bible references. He references vengeance and striking down, and I guess you could say kind of an eye for an eye type mentality. So again, it would appear as though that this might be somebody who's in a mental health crisis. You will recall that this is the second time within, I believe it's 4 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, in which the governor has been threatened on social media. So it does show, I guess, that the governor's team and the governor's security team, I guess it'd be the State Highway Patrol, monitors these things. And it's sad, Brad. And I guess this guy moved at some point recently from St. Charles down to Florida. So St. Charles is in the headlines for not a very good reason.
You got to be careful with that, because at one point in time, I made a religious reference to Tracy Ellis about that God was going to smite down her transmitter, and I got a cease and desist letter out of that. So you just did.
You did, yeah, and it was actually you did a cross promotion with some sort of radio doo-doo website. I think they had a thing with like Washmo dog doo-doo cleanup or something. Brad, it was a disgusting analogy.
I didn't tell you this, but this past weekend, or maybe it was the weekend before, I was on Todd Showalter's show on the refugee station on News Talk STL, and his co-host Joey V is an avid reader of my radio poop column, and we talked about that. He reads it all the time. So,
Brad, can you be an avid reader of something that's updated every 18 months?
You have to read real slow. Okay, ready for number one?
Let's do it, Brad.
The number one.
6 decades we supported you. Clark Hunt called with the bad news. Goodbye. And I think we know why. Yesterday, you brought up the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs were set to move. I was pretty excited because I knew that they would be coming to St. Charles County and moving into the family arena. And like many Chiefs fans, Brad, well, I can't put myself in that category. Like many observers, I was crestfallen to see that they had moved across the border to the state of Kansas. Earlier, Brad, in his cynical populist tone, derided the fact that Missouri elected officials feel a bit befuddled, maybe besmirched, maybe rejected, certainly angry about the Chiefs' decision to move across state lines. But I think in the most recent days, we got an indication, let's get into the logistics of it. The governor of Kansas announced that there would be a press conference coming. The mayor of Kansas City was frantically discussing the fact that he had done everything that he could. And Missouri politicians, as you would expect, reacted yesterday to the news that the Chiefs are moving across the state line. Now, Brad, we could probably, if we have time, we could get into the specifics. But I think it's fair to say, top line, the state of Kansas, in courting the Chiefs, has offered a boatload, more than a boatload of money to the owners of the Chiefs to come across state line, put together an encouraging, generous package of goodies to entice them to move across the state line. And I think we saw that one. That's what happened. The Chiefs leadership team yesterday in a video immediately after announcing the move said that they thought that the Missouri offer was good, but cited that there wasn't a whole lot of coordination. They claimed they were talking to multiple entities, a city, a county, a state. They said that Kansas came with one unified and generous is my word, not the Chiefs' word, package to entice the Chiefs to come across the state line. So real quick, Brad, before we get into the discussion of it, I'll point out, here's what the governor said. This is a governor's statement. I'm reading this, the version that was posted to LinkedIn. The state of Missouri is the best home for the Kansas City Chiefs. State leaders did our part in putting together an attractive and competitive package that was a good deal for Missouri taxpayers and for the Chiefs. You'll notice the taxpayers come first. This is a great message composed by likely Gabby Picard from the governor's office, maybe a little bit of influence from Drew Damp from the governor's office. Missouri's incentives would have empowered the Chiefs organization to grow and invest in the unparalleled Arrowhead experience, creating a true legacy stadium for the next generation. Here comes the good part, Brad. Unfortunately, team ownership has decided to abandon Lamar Hunt's legacy at the iconic Arrowhead Stadium, a place that Chiefs fans have rallied around since 1972. At Arrowhead, every game feels like a Super Bowl. No new stadium will replace that. I join Chiefs Kingdom in expressing my strong disappointment with this decision. Brad, you, at the top of this segment, use the offensive and PG-13 word, butthurt, to describe Missouri elected officials. Do you want to get into the alleged butthurtness in B Block, or do you want to talk about it now?
Let's talk right now.
Let's do it.
Here's an X post from AKA Ricky
Schroeder.
Oh,
you got it, Brad. I knew you would see what Nick had to say. What's his real name, Brad?
Nick Schroyer. Isn't that what it is, Schroyer?
No, it's Nick Schroyer. Okay, but good effort. Go ahead.
Multi-paragraph. The first paragraph. The NFL has been a huge embarrassment as a whole, not only to the people of Missouri, but across the nation. The NFL has become a laughingstock. From allowing the collusion between billionaires to break their own rules to move the Rams from St. Louis, Chiefs owners included, going softer on legal hits than the Lingerie Football League, to the laughable and racism statement that they painted on their end zones, which I still don't think they've solved, all the while allowing for murderers, spousal abusers, and drug addicts to continue representing their organization unscathed, okay? That's the first paragraph. Let me read you the last paragraph, okay? I think this is so funny. And by the way, Nick, I know you'll never call me because you don't like me. I know you're coming after me, but if you want to call me...
Come on, Brad, get to it.
If you want to call me and discuss this on the air, 314-280-8880. But you're a part investor with the refugee boys at News Talk STL, so I know you'll never be on my radio station.
I'm sure that actually has nothing to do with it. Brad, I'm guessing, I'm not interrupting you, but I'm guessing that this statement comes from Facebook because Twitter, which is for people, who want a little bit quicker information, this whole thing that you're reading was not on X. I'm guessing that you're reading from Boomer Facebook, right?
I'm reading it off X, John. Okay, let me here's the last paragraph.
Okay, go ahead.
The last paragraph. This week, I will be drafting legislation to get rid of the asinine classification of the Chiefs as Missouri's official NFL team as it was passed just a few sessions ago. Similarly, I will be getting rid of the asinine handshake border war resolution, which says we will play nice with our neighbors next door.
And then he shows Governor Parson with Governor Kelly a few years ago. They had kind of They did kind of a civility video together, Brad. So let me get this right. You dislike the reaction of Missouri elected officials. Do you think they should be applauding the move to Kansas?
No. See, here's the problem. The problem is we have a Republican governor. We have a supermajority in the House. We have a supermajority in the Senate. They can't get anything done. They just can't get crap done.
Now, Brad, yeah, you're right. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I'm listening to a man that claims he's not a Republican, and you just said we. We have a supermajority in the House. We have a supermajority in the Senate.
No,
are you calling yourself a Republican now?
I'm saying as a Missourian, we have.
Oh, I see.
The state of Missouri.
And you're saying that they can't. Okay, but let me disagree with you. In that Governor Kehoe, I think, has a good position here, because when we talked about redistricting, we talked about the fact I said Governor Kehoe gets to have it both ways. He can pass what he calls a Missouri First map. President Trump can be pleased with his efforts. And Governor Kehoe knows that today that map probably will be struck down in the courts. If it's not struck down by the courts, it will probably be rejected by voters at the ballot box. So the governor can have it both ways. In this case, the governor can put forth an economic package, offer it to the chiefs, say he made a good faith effort to keep the chiefs here, which he did. He's being honest about that. Then they move to Kansas, and the governor can continue to say, look, we made a good faith effort. We gave them an attractive package, but we were not going to mortgage our state's future by giving billions and billions to billionaires to keep them here. So the governor can have it both ways, and I think he can do it while being honest about it, Brad.
John, it's kabuki. It's kabuki. It's just kabuki.
What's kabuki about? What's untrue about this?
It's just like you and I had this discussion a couple weeks ago about some bill that Bob Onder did, and you said, and I thought it was
symbolic for sure.
Yeah, it's kabuki. It's like,
but who is kabuki? And you can't just say everybody, Brad.
The state,
what is kabuki? Was the governor's offer to keep the chiefs here kabuki?
Yes.
What was kabuki?
Yes, it's all smoke and mirrors. Because
okay, so the governor's offer to keep the chiefs here was not real?
Well, because they did it in special session. They waited till the very end. This has been going on for years, John. I mean, go back to Parson. There should be proactive. Once again, this great thing we have, the Freedom Caucus and all these great Republicans that are getting things done. They don't get crap done. They just, they get on their talk shows. They talk, we're doing so much for the state of Missouri. If it ain't abortion, if it ain't, the other stupid, goofy crap they care about all the time, So
the pro-life issue is stupid, goofy crap?
I'm saying it's like, let's go back to the Jim White era, okay? You're never going to be able to switch anybody's idea. It's like...
and we've discussed that many times on the show, Brad. So is what you're saying, what I hear you say, because for months, maybe more than a year, you've talked about the fact you have your tongue-in-cheek notion to bring the Chiefs here, which was never realistic. But I would presume, Brad, that your position would be, as it was last week, which you stated, if the Chiefs want to go to Kansas, let them go to Kansas.
Well, okay, but you make fun of me when I talked about bringing the St. Louis. I've talked to people. I talked to several, I won't say who, elected officials, and they laughed at me. They go, why would we bring the Chiefs here? Okay, when they move over because I think the stadium's supposed to be finished. I think the current lease where Arrowhead goes through the 2030 season, if I'm not mistaken. So in 2031, how many NFL teams will we have in the state of Missouri, John? How many will we have?
0 points.
Exactly.
0.
And if they would have moved to St. Louis, even to the point where I'm going like, why didn't anybody even try? Teams, the Baltimore Colts used to be, the Baltimore Ravens used to be the Indianapolis Colts. Wasn't that the deal? Teams move around. And the crazy thing about it is the Kansas City Chiefs, if you know your history of football, originally were the AFL, and they came from Dallas. They were a Dallas team. So
yeah, teams moved, Brad, and so they moved a few miles across the state line, right?
Don't get me going about this, John. Okay, we have to take...
I know. I was hoping we would, Brad. My goal is to get your blood pressure sustainably high so that you don't have your gallbladder surgery. And I was hoping by bringing up the Chiefs we could get there, Brad. You know what? I went to your doctor, and he claimed you don't have scar tissue. He said it was all kabuki.
No, I've got scar tissue. If you, John, I will say this.
I do not want to see your belly, Brad. Do not send me more pictures of your belly.
And I've done this.
I've warned you against that. You know what? Even Jack Wang warned you against that.
I dropped my drawers in front of 3 doctors, and they all went, ooh, at my nasty scar. By the way, John, check your text.
I saw it. Yeah, you sent it to me when I was in the middle of talking, so I paused for a second. I'm not going to click on the link, but I just take your word that he was at KSDK.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is the link I send you is in Chinese.
Most honorable.
Yeah, let's go read the link.
Is it from TikTok?
No, it's a regular web page.
Wow. By the way, the Missouri legislature just said they're going to call a special session to ban whatever website that is, Brad.
Okay, here we go. I think this is the longest A block we've ever done.
Thank you. Ever since yesterday. It's the longest one since yesterday.